Welcome back. Now let's take a look at efforts being made to restore the coastline of the Delta, where the River State Governor Nyesom Wike has been speaking about his plans for shore protection in Degema.
To have any abandoned a project, so when you are saying extend it, it's not easy to extend. Anyway, let's finish that one so you see it yourself and you know what we are talking about. So I'll call the Commission of Transport and know what it is. But the one that I will do immediately has to do the uncompleted primary and secondary and the primary health and unfortunately, the PAMSEC Health and the Commission of Education, they are not here. But I think I'll direct them to go to Billy and look at the extent the last administration did, and then we can complete it for you.
We are appreciative of the ongoing reconstruction work of the Ville Bonny Jetty, our main route to and from Port Harcourt. Since its construction by the government of the then military governor of the state, then Colonel Anton Ugbo, now retired Brigadier General, this is the first time any administration in the state is fulfilling the several promises of rebuilding the jetty. This is the reason our appreciation knows no bounds.
From there, we move on to sports. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Ijoma. Nigeria has recorded a second victory at the ICC World Cricket League qualifying South Africa, beating Zambia by 3 wickets. Now, the Yellow Greens lost the toss. The Zambians chose to field and made 152 runs in 45.5 overs, all out for the Nigerians to chase. The Nigerian team scored a total of 153 runs, and with a fall of 7 wickets in 37.1 overs, they sealed the victory. The coach, Shonde, says he is pleased that his team is making steady progress. An explosion has hit the bus taking the Borussia Dortmund team to the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal first leg match against French side AS Monaco. German police said defender and Spanish international Marc Bartra was injured in the incident. The game has now been postponed till tomorrow. And still talking Champions League, Paulo Dybala scored twice as the old lady of Turin, Juventus, took charge of their Champions League quarter-final tie with the Blaugrana FC Barcelona, courtesy of a commanding home leg display in Turin. The Argentinian forward curled home both of his goals before the break, before Italian international Giorgio Chiellini headed in a third from a corner. However, after their record-breaking achievement to overturn a 4-goal deficit against Paris Saint-Germain PSG, Barca will hope to head into the return leg at the Camp Nou with a similar performance. The league management company LMC has sanctioned Kano Pillars, Katsina United and Remo Stars following the violent conduct of their fans in the NPFL, that's the Nigeria Professional Football League. According to the LMC, Kano Pillars are to pay a fine of 7.25 million naira and have their stadium closed to fans indefinitely. Katsina United were fined 2.5 million naira, and they are to play the next 3 home matches behind closed doors. The LMC also imposed a fine of 2.5 million naira on Remo Stars and restriction of their fans from attending 3 home games. A suspended 3 points deduction was also imposed on the 3 airing clubs. Well, that's a wrap on sports news. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission today recorded another huge cash haul worth 4 billion naira with the help of a whistleblower. The anti-graft agency believes the cash is part of the proceeds of corruption and has begun a manhunt for the suspect whose name was not made public. The EFCC confirmed the cash haul, but adds that investigation into the owner of the funds revealed that the money belongs to a former deputy governorship candidate in Niger State. The suspects used the names of 2 companies, Qatar Property and Investment Limited and Sodiq Air Travel Agency, to launder the funds. Foreign ministers from the G7 group of nations have failed to reach an agreement over imposing new sanctions on Russia and Syria. The ministers were seeking a common position on the Syrian conflict before the U.S. Secretary of State flies to Russia to try to persuade it to abandon its Syrian ally. But the nations agreed that there is no solution to the Syria crisis with President Assad in power. UK proposals to target sanctions at senior military leaders were also sidelined. The male suspect arrested over the Stockholm truck attack has confessed to a terrorist crime at a court hearing in the Swedish capital. His lawyer says the 39-year-old Ramhat Akalov from Uzbekistan admitted carrying out the attack in court and was remanded in custody. 4 people were killed when a lorry was driven into a department store on Friday. A number of people were also injured, too critically. Meanwhile, the prosecution says a second man is no longer being held as a suspect, but he will not be released because he already has a deportation order standing against him. And the main news again. The House of Representatives today released copies of the payslips of the Speaker Yakubu Dogara from October 2016 to March 2017, showing that he earns an average of 346,577 naira monthly after deductions. This follows the face-off between the Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and Mr. Dogara over lawmakers' wages. Also today, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation criticized the National Assembly for minimal success recorded in the fight against corruption. And G7 nations today failed to agree on sanctions against Russia following a deadly chemical attack allegedly carried out by its ally, Syria. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. You have a good night.